What we fear is not solitude. What we fear is confronting ourselves. Welcome to Veils of Unity, a place where we trust in your capacity to discern and in your ability to listen to the truth within your heart. In order to do that, what we will do is we will try to ground all our expositions, conversations, and dialogues in the sacred texts, which are the foundations of all the great spiritual traditions. It is very important to clarify that this will not be as if we were teaching from above. There is no guru, no master here. What we will be doing is trying to make sense, trying to discover, using all the sacred texts which have taught about life's purpose, meaning, and all the aspects related to existence, but as fellow travelers, as if we were companions sitting on the same side of the table with this open text, trying to make sense of them. We are together in this process of trying to discover what life is about. This is a journey beyond dogma and beyond tradition. It's a journey guided by our own intellects towards the center of our heart. Try to imagine a point. This point will represent truth, the absolute, the purpose of life. Now try to picture a circumference, a circle surrounding this point. Now imagine that there are some lines that go directly from the circumference towards the center. The center, we said, is truth. In the circumference are represented the different religious traditions all along history, like Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, etc. Each one of these rays, of these lines, which go directly from the border towards the center, are the spiritual traditions within each one of these religions. That is to say, these are the inner path, the inner quest, in order to get closer and closer to truth beyond dogma and beyond tradition. Every once in a while in life, we try to make sense of our own existence and of our own actions. In order to do that, we interpret the very specific moment in which we find ourselves, and we interpret our own sense of ourselves in that situation out of a horizon of meaning. This horizon of meaning can be the circle, the radii, or even the center. Are you trying to make sense of your life out of dogma and tradition? Or are you courageous enough to make sense of it through an internal quest, an honest effort to understanding the truth in your heart through your intellect? Working with people all along these years, I have learned that we have, or there is, some sort of confusion between reason and intellect. And this confusion leads us to think that whenever we are in a conflict, or whenever we are trying to deal with things that oppose themselves within ourselves, whenever we are trying to find a way to get rid of this tension between reason and emotion, we think that we have to choose whether we will follow what we feel or we will follow what we think. This mistake arises from the illusion or the misconception of reason and intellect as being the same. They're not the same. Reason is just a tool, a very important tool, but it is a tool aimed at processing information. It processes information through deduction, analogy, and induction, but it knows nothing about truth. It knows nothing about our well-being or even about what good really means. So it's very important to understand that reason has no information itself. It requires information that has to be administered either by the word or by the intellect. which is located or seated in the heart. Intellect is what the ancient Greeks, the Hindus, and many others have understood as God within ourselves, or as consciousness, the cosmos consciousness manifested within ourselves. And that's why it is understood as a way to acquire knowledge in an immediate way, without any specific process in between, even without enough information. Because intellect is this capacity. Let's say it is a device that allows us to understand and to grasp truth without any form of mediation. We just know it immediately. So the intellect is some sort of device, so to speak, through which we are able to grasp truth or what's really going on all of a sudden, without method, without processing information, sometimes even without having that information at hand. We just know, and we don't know how we know, but we do. This is why the ancient Greeks, the Hindus, the Sufis have said that the intellect is located in our heart, while reason is located in the brain. So if we see all this from that perspective, then we could say that reason has no information itself, and it needs or requires the information that the heart, the intellect, may provide to it. So reason is in between our emotions and our intellect, and it is nurtured by both. But the question is our reason working or aligned just with our feelings, or is it aligned or guided by our intellect, which goes much beyond reason? Anything you are aware of is not you. You are awareness itself. We are not the one who acts. We are not the one who feels. We are not even the one who thinks. According to the great sages, we are the silent witness of all that. Imagine that in front of you, you have a very big screen where all the different religious traditions are depicted. So you would have there the Abrahamic traditions like Judaism, Christianism, Islam, or the Hindu traditions in their Vaishnava, Shaiva, or yogic traditions, among others, or Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism, etc. If you looked at them, probably you would suddenly realize that there are so many differences in the cosmological, ontological, metaphysical, and even eschatological dimensions. But if you go beyond them, you would probably find that there is unity beyond confessional divergences. Veils of Unity is this effort to trying to grasp this unity that lies beyond all these religious traditions, which seem to be different languages, using different symbols to communicate the same truth, that all is one. That unity lies beyond all these confessional divergences becomes quite evident when you have the direct experience of the different sacred rituals of different traditions in their own realms, that is to say, in their own countries, in their own places, following their everyday way of life, and you become immersed in their own spiritual and concrete aspects of their experience. This is something we have had the gift of living in Veils of Unity while traveling around the world. We have been in different countries like Morocco, Egypt, Israel, Georgia, Malaysia, Mongolia, India, Japan, etc. And wherever we have been, we may feel that beyond the differences in the forms of the rituals, in the way they conceptualize reality, there lies some common core which probably unites every human effort trying to make sense of what life is about. Because of that, we think in Veils of Unity that we should integrate both an intellectual inquiry with an immersed direct experience within each one of these cultures in order to be able to grasp what lies beyond all these divergences. And this is something that should be transformative to each person. This is not just an intellectual approach, but it is not also just a devotional one. It is one in which we allow all our feelings, our reason, and our intellect to integrate, trying to make sense and capture what life is about, what is its purpose is, and be able to harmonize ourselves with our environment, with our people, and follow a life or follow a path full of meaning. Real knowledge doesn't mean acquiring a new model of reality or new concepts. Real knowledge involves becoming what we are trying to know. And the path that we follow in Veils of Unity involves self-inquiry and direct experience. A real spiritual path is not one that leads you towards a master, but towards your own heart. In Veils of Unity, we dream of a global community, but not a community of followers, a community of fellow travelers who are traveling along this path together, becoming as if each one were a mirror of the other, so that each one of us may learn from the experience, the insights, and the reflections of each person, because we trust in each one's capacity to discern and to listen to the truth in their own hearts. Veils of Unity is a place for reflection and self-inquiry. It is a place in which we invite people to use all their capacities to make sense of what the different traditions and the different sacred texts have taught all along life. We trust in our own capacity to analyze, to comprehend. We also trust in our own capacity to listen to our hearts. Notwithstanding, we know that our own egos, our own tendencies, and our own conditioning processes might always bias our understanding. Notwithstanding that, we invite you to follow this path of self-inquiry, guided by the knowledge, guided by all the concepts and all the models of reality that have been proposed by all these sages. We do not pretend to find the right one. We do not even pretend to get to a comprehension that may go beyond all of them. We are just trying to inhabit the mystery of life while trying to make sense of it. If you dare to experience life without having ultimate truth, if you dare to inhabit life out of its mystery, but at the same time you're interested in understanding how different traditions have tried to explain what life is about, and at the same time you trust in your own capacity to discern in your own hearts, then Veils of Unity might be a place for you. Here we would like to share as a community what we might learn from each one of us, but at the same time informed by all the knowledge and all the experience of hundreds of years of different traditions. I invite you to follow us in Instagram and maybe to have some one-on-one sessions and even to experience some of the sacred places in the world together.